Well, hello there.
Hey.
Welcome to another episode of the Tabletop Trio podcast, a special episode. I'm Bob.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Graham.
And we're, as you can see, we're not at our, friendly table at home. We're here at the Gundam Kitchen down in Blackwood, New Jersey. We have Irad with us today, and this is so much fun. This is such a cool place.
It is. There's so much that my brain is like, and do that, and do that, and do that. And
the hobbies must be taking over, Joe.
I own half of these hobbies already, and now the other one's like, well, what about the other half?
There's more.
I was just at a Comic-Con yesterday, and this is like walking into Comic-Con again. Like the posters on the wall, all the different things everywhere. It's like walking down the aisles, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, that's the vibe of mini Comic-Con.
Yeah.
It's awesome in here. I feel like every hobby shop you walk into, there's always something different. Like there's always, you can find the staples and that's always great, but then there's always something a little different. For me personally here was little mini Z cars. Those things I've never even heard of before. And we went down a rabbit hole a couple weeks ago on the website trying to figure out what they were about. But you guys got models, you got buildable models, you've got your D&D stuff, Warhammer, I saw some Star Wars stuff.
Marvel behind me.
Marvel, you guys are
World War II stuff. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, very big in the model world, not as much cards and stuff like that.
Correct.
So how did it get started?
So started about 10 years ago, and basically wanted to open up mostly Gundam store. And I was like, I can't just do Gundams. I gotta have something to supplement that. So I think within about 6 months, I started with the Warhammer and the World War II stuff, and that blew up. And I was like, oh, need a bigger spot because we gotta have gamers now.
And you have a very large spot here. Like there's multiple tables around. It's a really nice space, and it's like an inviting one as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love the Warhammer tables. These just giant neoprene mats with like the where are you going to go battle? Do you want the grass? Do you want the city? I love the feel. I love the places that have the Warhammer setups. I have Warhammer. I've only been able to play a couple times because the space you need to play. Yeah. And then it turns out the time required to play. They are long games. But it was a lot of fun, and it's one of those things where I'm looking to play again, and it's like, all right, where could I find a spot to go and do that? And now I'm like, all right, maybe I'll be down.
Well,
here.
I know where we are now.
So I love the everything you got going on. I see you got model cars over there.
Yeah, a little bit. Like you said, every hobby store is a little different. So
Yeah.
probably 5 miles away, there's like an old school traditional hobby store that has like the planes and the cars, trains. So I just stayed away from that stuff, focused on like more modern our generation type of anime based stuff, and then the wargaming.
That's awesome. Yeah, and when we walked in, you have a whole bunch of Gundam in display cases, all that kind of stuff. That is one thing that I knew about. Like, I knew there was a show and all that, but I never knew like how in depth, like with the building and all that kind of thing. Like, Graham, you had mentioned there's a thing of Gundam playing volleyball.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was impressive. I was cracking up at that one.
and I saw on the Facebook page that like you guys have like building nights based, like potluck nights.
Right. So yeah, once a month we do a potluck. And that's basically where builders will get together, show off what they've been working on for the last month, and everyone's involved with their competitions in there. So that's where that volleyball one came from.
Nice,
we did a
nice.
Sakura one for like in spring, so you might see those builds up front.
Oh, fantastic!
Awesome.
So what are the skill levels of Gundam building? Is it like model cars where you have like the snap together ones all the way up to
Yeah.
like paint it yourself?
So Gundam starts in the snap and ends at the snap.
Okay.
So it's all snap, it's all pre-colored. If you want to stop there, that's fine. But it's really good quality. A lot of old heads will be like, oh, snap kits, that sucks. But because they're so used to car models and they want
Right.
that glue and everything like that. But Bandai's on another level. So snap is great. And it's colored already, so you don't have to paint.
Oh,
But
wow, okay.
that's where you get into the hobbies, when you start modifying, painting, kit bashing, and all that kind of other stuff.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's, I think that's what I was talking about on the car ride up.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't know if Gunpla was just the mashup hobby, or is it just the name of the hobby in general? We were like, okay,
we did a
it's-
little crash course
Yeah.
on the ride up of Gunpla.
Yeah, Japan likes to combine words, so it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Gundam and play.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
makes sense.
I've seen the Gundams where they add like the dirt and the mud and the blood splatter
The
on
weather,
the weathering on them, and they're just they're amazing. I noticed in the case you have up there, you had some awards next to your
Yeah, that
your
wasn't
models
mine.
as well.
One of my customers, he did win. So every year they have the Gundam World Cup, and it's held in Japan, but they do qualifiers in big countries, I guess. So America has a qualifier. One of my customers got to go to Japan a couple years ago.
Oh, that's awesome!
so cool.
That's really awesome.
That is crazy. I didn't realize that it went so. I mean,
Oh yeah, it goes hard.
yeah, it's Gundam, it's Japan. It makes sense. They go hard. What is your favorite Gundam? I know there's like a million.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I like the Sazabi and the new. Both of those is from the same show and just have a good aesthetic.
Awesome. I thought there were only like 4
No.
Gundam shows, and then I started because I was a kid when I watched it, and then I was like, oh no, it just keeps going. There's a ton.
I think it started in like 78, so
Yeah,
they pretty
yeah.
much put something out every other year maybe.
Wow.
So it's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
So do you keep up with all animes, or is like Gundam your go-to?
In the last like 2 years, I've been kind of like falling off my anime game, but
Okay.
yeah, I watch a decent amount. I'm like old school. I came in with the not so much Dragon Ball, but I was definitely like watching like Ninja Scroll, and Physical
Yeah,
Starlet, all those hyper violent ones. So I just like came into the adult side of anime. So like I don't watch many like the shonen stuff, but
Okay, yeah.
Awesome. Are you big into 40K yourself, or
nah, my game of choice is Infinity.
Infinity.
So it's more like a cyberpunk world, essentially. Like dystopian.
Interesting.
That sounds really cool. Like, tell us about that, because I've never heard of that before.
All right, so super far future, Earth, I don't think is around anymore really, but everybody's spread out into the universe, and so there's like an AI faction that kind of provides all the technology to all the other factions. I play Nomads, which are just a bunch of ships that are nomadic and they have their own industries and everything. They're also like the hookup spot. If you need anything legal, they got it. Then there's like space cops, and there's like one faction that's kind of like low tech military, but they have werewolves and stuff like that.
Oh,
So that's super cool.
That's cool.
So is it turn-based? Is it tabletop?
It's
Is it
similar to Warhammer in the fact that it's turn-based. What makes it really different from, I would say, any other war game that I can think of is that you're very engaged when it's not your turn. So like Warhammer, you're just sitting there and all you're doing is rolling defense.
right?
In this game, when you're defensive, every time the person on offense moves, if you have somebody that can see them, they can react to them. So they can either dodge or they can shoot at them. They're going to be shooting less bullets at them because the other person's is ready to go.
Right.
But you can react to them, so it doesn't make it like somebody can just walk all around and do whatever.
So it's like a little bit like XCOM rules.
It's very much like XCOM. So if you enjoyed XCOM the video game, I would say that's probably like one of the closest tabletop games to that.
All right, add it to the list.
Just add another one.
Just tack another one on.
Another cool thing about it is most games you can only activate one character at a time in a turn.
Yeah.
This one, you can go Rambo. If you just want one guy to go do work, he can get all the orders and just go up there and kill everything.
Okay, all right. I like how you said that you play Nomad, and they're the group that, like, if you need something, they got it.
Yeah.
And now you have a store where if you need something, you got it.
I see the parallels.
Yeah, it's very fitting.
So with the Nomads, is it one of those things where like players can kind of trade with other players, or is it just straight combat kind of
What do you mean by trade?
like resource management? I don't know if it's just turn-based. I've never played the game before. It sounds really interesting. I just, a little bit more about how the game works. Is it just a combat game?
Yeah, so it's skirmish. So it's on a 4x4, unlike like Warhammer's a little smaller than a 6x4 now. And it's very cover heavy. You're always looking for cover because that's like otherwise you just get blown off the table without cover. And you have very little armor. You have very little wounds. Most guys have 1 to 2 wounds. So you get hit once, you're unconscious. You get hit twice, you're gone.
Wow, got it.
So it's very brutal, but you can still win a game and almost get mopped off the board. Because it's very objective heavy too. So you're just going for objectives, and that's what the game's really about. Because they're not really in full on. There's only one real enemy in the game, which is this alien race that's coming to try to kill all the human races. So most of the time they're just doing like skirmishes over trying to get some resource or something like that.
Okay.
Got it. So is there like an AI concept to the game, or is it just player versus player?
Player versus player.
Got it. I know there was a couple where it's like player versus player, but also the AI is making random turns and stuff like that. It sounds like a really cool concept. I love there's a little bit more to do, because with Warhammer, it is kind of just like, all right, it's your turn. Grab your tape measure.
Defense.
Start doing that thing. I'll grab my 3 or 4 die and let me know when I need to roll. Or confirm with my tape measure. But such a cool... See, it's the things like that. It's like, I had no idea that existed.
I can already tell that if I played this game, Rambo every time. It'd be what I'd be known for it.
I got one.
Like, oh yeah, that guy Graham. He just sends one guy in every time. If that guy dies, here comes the next one.
One of my employees, like most people traditionally play the game, he's like 12 to you can max at 15 characters. So most people are trying like 12 to 15. You're trying to get in there. My one guy, he's like 5 characters all the time. Just Rambo.
Let's go. I'm with
5
that guy.
chunky dudes.
The other 4 are just here for backup. The first guy, he's the guy.
He's like the main character, and the rest are like, oh, here's so and so too.
So I know in Warhammer, I believe you can buy the pre-painted Warhammer minis, but then they have the ones that you paint. Is Infinity the same way?
I don't know if they offer the pre-painted anymore. Usually you got to commission somebody.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah,
It's a big commitment to paint.
yeah.
An
They have like
army.
ones that are colored just in all blue for a space marine.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not even kids, it's the color of plastic.
Yeah.
Infinity, you got to do it all yourself, and,
so it is
they're
all.
metal models, so it
I love
is
the metal.
okay.
Though.
nice weight, but it's a pain to build.
I like the metal feel more though. It just feels like I'm not gonna accidentally snap it.
Yeah.
If like.
Do you know how many D&D minis I've snapped and broken?
I have.
Have you seen how many?
printers, Yes.
I was gonna say, have you seen how many minis I have in my D&D bag that are all broken?
And you have them in cases.
Oh, really?
That's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're brittle. Some of the when you get like the swords and the
Yeah,
little.
all those little pokey stuffs.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just- So, and I have a SLA printer at my house, so I print my minis, and that's like half the reason I got the printer is like, all right, they broke. Another one's
Reprint.
coming up.
Yeah.
I feel like those are even a little more brutal sometimes.
So they've gotten better with it because if you just use the regular resin, yes, it is more brittle. But they found if you mix, there's like a more rubbery resin, and you just put like a little 5-10% in there, and everything becomes like just a lot stronger because it's just a little bit bendy.
Yeah.
So people are like chemists now,
Mhm.
like mixing resins. But I haven't done that, so mine are brittle.
I thought you were gonna go with yeah, mine are a little sturdier now. Just I haven't
No.
gotten there.
No, I'd print all. I do full rubber, so you can just like huck it
Reprint.
across the room.
Bounces back.
It's not gonna look as good, but you could just hit it with a hammer. It's fine. I wish.
Yeah, all of my minis, they break. Even though they're in the cases, like they're wrapped with like paper towel, everything like that, and it's like, oh, do you want broken tree bore, or the working one?
For now,
Yeah.
For now, yeah.
what do you think has like the best quality, like materials? So like the Gundams are all pre-painted, kind of snap together.
Right.
I'm assuming they have very good tolerances because they snap. D&D minis are usually really good quality. The bigger ones they usually have not painted, so you could paint them. And then like Infinity over here has metal. What do you think is like the best?
I don't know if they're even comparable. So like Bandai makes a really good plastic 99% of the time. So stuff doesn't usually snap unless it's really thin and it's just good plastic. And we're talking about much bigger stuff than we're talking about minis, right? I think with the miniatures, it's really what you like, kind of, because I don't like to work with metal, but I like the finished product of just having like that weight and and if they break, it's just going to be something that falls off and just glue it back on, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to usually snap, and you're not going to be like looking for a part forever. But like, I mean, GW, they make some good stuff.
They've been at it a
Pricey,
while.
but they make some good stuff.
Yeah. What with Warhammer and all, obviously these tables are blank. When people show up, do they bring like their terrain and armies?
Not
or do they
usually.
just-
Unless we have a tournament
Mhm.
where we just can't provide that much terrain, because some of the tournaments for like Warhammer are pretty big, then we might have somebody bring in some terrain. But mostly under these tables is all buckets of terrain.
Oh, yeah, so there's buckets.
I was wondering what these bins were for. I was like, my backstock could be literally anything down there.
I was looking around because I know, like, I've been to a couple hobby shops that have it, and usually there's just like racks with just like stuff.
Yeah, we did have that, and we just condensed down because it was too sloppy. It just gets crazy. I'd rather have it on the tables out of the way.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Is this terrain kind of usable for most of the games here? I see there's some World War
Not
II
really,
-ish.
because some of the World War II games are World War II games are in two different scales. So one scale's the same as Warhammer, and the other one's like 1/100, so it's really small.
Oh, tiny.
Oh,
Tiny,
wow.
yeah.
Whoa.
So what do you like multiple units for the tiny guys?
Oh
or-
yeah, that's what it's for. So you can have a bunch of tanks out on the field. You can put more of a war out there, you know.
Yeah,
'Cause
a
if you
full
have something-
scale.
right? Yeah, much more full scale. You're gonna have like 6-7 tanks out there and tons of troops.
That's so cool.
That's another thing that I would be like, yep, I'm playing here for the next. When do you close?
It's open pretty late.
I do see you have your board games, the classics. Do you get a lot of board game players here? Or?
Not really. We've tried to have board game nights, but they kind of go up and then they fizzle out. So definitely much more miniatures, but it's good to provide that, for some people to
Now,
go that way.
Do people grab Gundams and start building here, or do they kind of leave and?
Yeah, it does happen occasionally, and definitely on our potlucks, people just bring their stuff and build for the whole night.
Do people come with
That's
little
nice.
fishing boxes full of
Little tackle of all their stuff.
tackle box has been the hobby go-to for years.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great organizer.
Honestly, that's what I use for my, because I for a while I was into building like the model cars and all that kind of stuff, and just my little tackle box is all like the little paints and everything like that. I do want to get into painting minis. I feel like that's a very slippery slope for me.
Yes.
but,
Also, your D&D stuff's not painted?
no, not really. I know.
Come on, man.
Well, they all break.
They break too
They all
often.
break.
I buy all my stuff pre-painted. I don't got steady hands. I'll mess it up.
We have one guy at our table that plays that. He's like, hey, do you want me to paint your mini? I'm like, yes, absolutely. He's like, here, he's like, here, I'll take it for you. And he said he messed up the paint, so he's like, I'm not going to charge you anything. I'm like, dude, this looks amazing.
Right.
I don't care that you think it looks messed up. This is fantastic.
You're your worst critic,
Oh, yeah.
always.
That's why I don't paint. See, I have the steady hand. I don't have the steady attention span. Or the wherewithal for me to be like, it's not absolutely perfect. I missed his pupil with like the one brush hair.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's garbage.
Yeah, he's
Throw it
looking in
out.
like 2 different directions, but I don't care.
That's what's funny.
What is your go-to paint? I see you got a bunch of paint over there. I know some people are very specific about what paints they use.
Yeah. I like Vallejo. And when you do Gundams, usually you airbrush or spray paint.
Really?
Because they're just too big to try to hide brush strokes. You've got to be an excellent painter to hide those brush strokes because
Oh, yeah, I guess
it's just
they
a
are
big
like
flat surface and you can see them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the mecha line. If you have the ventilation, Mr. Hobbies is great, but it's lacquer paint, so you better have the ventilation.
You got to get in there.
Yeah.
Or it's halfway through, you're just like,
Yep. Yeah, you're busy.
What's happening? What am I doing again?
I can see smells and taste color.
Yeah, even like to me, it's probably like an alcohol base, and
Yeah.
you'll be a little. Citadel's cool, but I just like Vallejo for the price, and they have great color range.
yeah, I know. From what I was always told, Citadel was like, oh yeah, they're like the. And I'm like, I always try to get the opinions of a bunch of people, especially like some of the stores only sell that one. So I'm like, yeah, but what about the other ones?
I mean, it's easy to sell what goes with the game. So
Right,
it's just
yeah.
a simple sell because the colors, they're on the side of the box, tell you what to paint it. But
Now with the paints, you said airbrush. Is it the same paints for the airbrushing, or is that separate paints?
so, like Vallejo has a mecha line, which is like 90% airbrush ready. You might just put a couple drops of thinner in there or a flow improver. But yeah, it's different. So brush paint's usually thicker. Airbrush paint's going to be thinner because it has to get through such a small.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially for like Gundams, it's like
Yeah.
really in there. Awesome. I mean, what do you got? I'm like looking around, so my brain is like firing off on every cylinder for like what I want and what I need to not look at.
Have you gotten into any of the other games that you guys sell? Like, has owning the store opened like a whole new world to you?
I try not to mess my own cards.
Yeah.
You can't get into
That's
everything.
fair.
You gotta walk in with blinders on.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
That looks really cool. I'm gonna look over here now.
I think that's like part of my biggest. I always wanted to open up a hobby store since I was like high school. I was like, I want to open up a hobby store, and then every time I'm like, I can't commit to me because ADHD. I'm like, all of it. I do all the hobbies. I can't do that. I gotta
It's
commit.
very dangerous. You gotta I don't know if I should have the mini Z here. I don't know if it really fits, but I liked it at the time. It was
Right.
cool.
It
I
is
was with the
fun.
try it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I will definitely be looking at those as soon as the show is done.
I think that's part of the appeal to the game store is the owner sees something that most people wouldn't see.
Right.
They're gonna try it. If it's fun, they're gonna put it on the shelves, and the people are gonna try it. And then the little community forums.
Yep.
And that's kind of like the greatest part about having hobby stores around is people walk in, young kids walk in, and they're like, "Oh, what's that?" And then now you got someone who's playing Warhammer. You got someone who's wanting to build.
A new addiction is born.
But it's such a good
Get 'em hooked early.
community thing. Like it's a great process, and it's great for everybody. It's kind of like wins across the board. So that's always been my my take on hobby stores.
And it's cool too that it creates that community, and then like you have like the potluck nights, and you have the different like game nights and all that kind of thing. You were telling me on Sundays you have like an anime club that comes in to watch different anime and that kind of thing. Like that's just
awesome.
so cool that it like
That'd be
on
me all
top
day.
of the hobby community, it's just a cool place to like come in, hang out,
Yeah, some people
do
live
something.
there, I swear.
You gotta start charging a little rent, you know?
Right.
Keep the lights on.
I
Well,
see you guys got your little
now-
coffee bar.
Now I'm stuck on the fact that hobby stores are just your drug dealers.
Yeah.
It's all right. It is what it is. Get them hooked early.
Plastic crack.
Yeah, yeah.
Better to spend it here than on actual drugs.
A
And-
better, safer
And these
alternative.
drugs have resale value. It's not a one and done.
And there's tournaments for it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
keep coming back at that high.
Yeah, you can get all those people together. This is great. And you don't get arrested afterwards. This is
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
deal, right?
Have you seen like like an uptick almost in like Warhammer, D&D, like different things like that. Have you seen recently that more people are like trying to get into it, learning more about it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely as the media picks up on stuff. So like that Netflix just did a Gundam show. I'm sure we're gonna get like any Gundams pretty soon. Because that's very accessible opposed to something that was like, released in the movie theater at one movie theater one night.
Yeah.
It was still Japanese. Not everybody goes see those.
Yeah.
But definitely something that's very mainstream, like a whole new series. And then like, there's rumors of a Warhammer movie coming soon.
Yeah.
So much,
Like, I'm assuming the game came out and that kind of piqued some interest, or
Which game?
the new Warhammer Space Marine 2.
Oh, the video game, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, the video game got a little bit of people back into it. Yeah. So any kind of like media connection always helps.
Yeah, we were going back and forth on the podcast of like, are people who play video games traditionally starting to move back towards physical board game, like, Warhammer, stuff like that? Because I feel, at least in my group of friends, that there has been a swing back to physical media and like hanging out in stores again. And I don't know if you guys have seen that translation into real time.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because we had such a weird last 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So like COVID made my store blow up like crazy.
Really?
It jumped with COVID. So I was only closed for 3 months. And when I came back, we did mostly like we would just Facebook sell right off the store live, right?
Oh, wow.
We did that for about a month. And then we opened back up and crazy.
Oh, I
Because
can
people are
imagine.
stuck at home and
Right.
it's
They have
hobby
the time.
Right,
Yeah.
hobby time now.
Yeah.
And it was crazy for like 2 years. And now it's like slowed down back to pretty much normal because everything else is open again.
Mhm.
So everybody has their normal distractions. And so I think it's kind of like leveled out again.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, when different media comes out, then it kind of brings people back in.
Mhm.
Awesome.
I
So
had
we're
no
hoping
idea
for
there was a
another
Gundam Netflix
COVID.
show.
Keep hobbies
Yeah.
alive.
Right?
That's how it works.
Listen, I didn't mind it. I was happy as a clam sitting at home. I
And
really
all that
was.
free money too. People had that money in their pocket.
Yeah.
And needed to spend it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought a new computer with that money. It was great. It's a great time. Again, happy.
I think I also bought a new computer.
I bought a computer. Yeah.
Yeah.
See? Hobbies.
I was like, what else are you going to do? Play video games. Can't see my friends for a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
I did buy a model, was working on that during that summer.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's awesome. What is your biggest seller here? I'm assuming Gundam, but
Yeah. So Gundam's probably about 40% by itself. Then Warhammer is probably like 30% next, and then everything else fits in there.
Okay.
So, how did you get the name?
Everybody always wants to know that one. So when I was looking for a store, I didn't even have a name yet. I just knew I wanted to open a hobby store. So in Chinatown, there's a store that used to be a duck restaurant, and they had Peking ducks always hanging in the windows. Then they became a sneaker store, and the sneaker store kept the aesthetic. They were called Abacus, and they had sneakers hanging in the window.
Okay.
The ducks were.
Yeah,
And
I
then
like
they
that.
They even had like the board up like you could order at a takeout type of thing.
Oh, that's funny.
So it was kind of cool. And I was like, and then the space was open. So I was like, I would keep the same aesthetic. We'll call it the Gundam Kitchen.
Okay.
I knew the owner a little bit, and we talked, and it was a good conversation. But then he didn't let me get the space. So and I was like, I still like that name. I think it's catchy. It'll stand out. It's different. I'm using the name.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because when and I don't think we've talked about it on air, but the way I found you guys is I went to Ren's Coffee and Book right down the street. It's a coffee shop and bookstore combined, brand new store. And I saw your card in like the community, like, oh, hey, check us out thing. And I'm like, this would be perfect. And I looked it up, I'm like, I go to the Pumpkin Festival here every single year. We drive past, like, my girlfriend's dad drops us off at the diner right next door, and we hang out. And I had no idea you guys were here. And I saw them like, wait, there's a game store like right there. Oh no!
Around the corner.
Oh no!
So
Yeah.
like it's such a cool place, and this is just awesome.
Yeah.
So you got yourself a new regular. He's gonna be
Yeah.
in here
Yeah,
quite a
you're gonna
bit.
see him.
Yeah.
I'll be up here, or I guess down here for me every now and again. You're about an hour from where I am at.
Yeah.
But I
A
can
little
be
bit
that
of a
down.
hike, but it's definitely a cool space, and just with all that you offer, it's like I can find myself getting lost in here So I'll be down here sparingly. It's good that you're far.
Yeah, right. It's always like oh no,
There goes all my money
yeah,
again.
oh no.
Yes, it's a good place to trip from one hobby into another.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because we were like, oh, I have my Warhammer stuff, but like I bought my my army was used. Somebody was getting rid of theirs, and I was like, that's a perfect time to buy it for not full price. Because first time playing, don't know if I really want to commit. Perfect. He pre-painted them, not well, but they're pre-painted.
Good enough.
I was like, oh, cool. So then I went to one hobby store who had like 1 or 2 tables, and then they went out of business. So I was like, all right, cool. So they've just been sitting in my house since. So now I'm like, all right, I have a place. I can go try this again.
Yeah, we definitely have. So we have Warhammer nights Thursday and Friday, and both groups are very glad to help people get into the hobby.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, we are going to be back for PAX weekend.
Yes, we
You guys are going to be down in the area, so we're going to have to swing by.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you guys offer, or do you guys like frown upon people kind of like trading, selling, kind of, that kind of stuff?
I don't want to like open up like a store inside my store, but yeah, I mean that happens.
Yeah.
So I don't really like frown upon it, but yeah, I mean, I understand people have something someone else wants, and you can trade. We actually like once a year we do like a kind of like a flea market where you can sell all your old kits or your backlog or whatever, clear up some space.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a great idea, actually.
Do you offer trade-ins for like good quality stuff to sell back, or not really?
Not really, but we do have like a small section. We're thinking about expanding that because some other stores do that and it seems to do well for them. But yeah, thinking about it.
Awesome.
So on the business end of things, is it you're the sole owner?
Yes.
And then you just have a couple employees that come help you out, or?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
4.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's all you need for a hobby shop, really. It's just like couple nerds, really. Just committed nerds. They have their own hobbies. They come in.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I've been to a lot of hobby stores where there's the owner and a couple of employees, but the owners don't do that great, and the store is kind of like not great, and they end up not lasting long. There's been a handful of them that I've seen churn.
Yep.
And you could go into hobby shops and kind of be like, oh, no, this one's a good one. Like you could tell. As soon as you open the door, it's like, there's not a smell. That's
a big one.
That's a big
win.
No cat just hanging out.
Yeah, that's like the number one. Like you open up the door and you're like, oh, smells good in here.
They clean.
And then like, as I was looking around while we were setting up, and just everything is so neatly everywhere. It's like, yeah, this place is well kept. It's not just like a.
I've been to hobby shops where you're looking around and everything's just not restocked. Like there's just empty spots everywhere. This is fully filled. I feel like if I needed something, it's always going to be there. And
yeah, it's weird because I feel like some shops it's kind of their aesthetic though. Because I've been to this board game spot in Pennsylvania, and there was just stacks of random board games together, just like stacked all over. How do you know where everything is? He knows.
Yeah. There's a method to the madness. Right. It's just, you don't know.
But it's like a hunt when you go to those kind of places too. So some people like that.
Yeah, it's like it's fun in flea markets and it's fun in like that kind of. But if I'm going to a hobby store and I want something, I don't want to go hunt for the thing. I don't want to have to remove 12 board games off the floor to get to the one on the bottom. You know, I want to.
It's like I really want this specific game. It's on the bottom of like floor to ceiling stack. Just like maybe I don't want this game.
Yeah. I'm not that committed.
I don't want to be the one that knocks over everything.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy who like plays dominoes in the store.
Yeah. So I like that everything here is just so neatly. As I was walking around, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, and then there's the thing that goes with it. Oh, and then there's that one, and it just everything flows, even to the point where like kind of color flowed too, because I was like, oh,
yeah.
I was
this
like,
is military. It's
I thought that was all part of Star Wars, and then I was like, wait a minute, they don't have tanks in Star Wars like that.
Not that you know, anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't watched a ton of Star Wars, but I don't remember any tank treads.
They like hovering tanks. I feel like,
those don't hover.
those clearly don't hover.
I don't think that happened in the 40s. If it did, we've gone severely backwards.
Actually, one of the games that's pretty cool is off of bolt action, they make conflict, which is like if a rift opened at the end of the war.
Oh,
And then you
okay.
have, like,
Oh,
alien
that's-
technology comes in.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
that was
awesome.
pretty cool.
that's
Vampires, werewolves in there too.
World War II with
I love,
vampires.
I love
Sexual
just
weapons.
I'm gonna drop a werewolf there. Here you go.
Axis,
you're-
allies, and vampire.
Have you guys ever
So
heard
weird,
of?
your sniper? It has it's a vampire actually.
Have you guys ever heard of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer?
Yeah.
That movie is way too good.
Is it?
Oh, it's so good.
In
It's
a
like
bad way, though, right?
no. It's a good movie. It's a good watch. It is a wild premise. Like I'm watching, I'm like, the acting's good. It
Really?
looks. Yeah,
Really?
I'm dead serious. I enjoyed the
You sure
movie.
it's like, not like Sharknado or something like
No,
that?
I've watched it multiple times.
So bad
too.
it's good.
Because when that
I'm
movie came
telling
out,
you, it's a good movie.
that's wild. Because when it came out, I was like, oh my god. How much drugs did someone take to make this a perfect?
Right.
And what studio was like, it's perfect. I'll greenlight it today.
So I'm a history teacher,
Okay.
and
Where are you going with this?
historically, they like obviously
He did
it's
actually kill a vampire.
Obviously, it's vampires, but like Abraham Lincoln had a child and he died
Uh-huh.
of an illness,
Uh-huh.
and in the movie they made the illness getting bit by a vampire, which I was just like, chef's kiss. That was fantastic. That did so much for me.
So from the historical side, you're like, there was a spot of truth in there. I'll take it.
But didn't that movie like spread like
Yeah.
a whole series of like Pride and Prejudice and zombies? Like it created a whole trend of like
We're gonna drop random
Historical
vampires,
fantasy?
werewolves, and everything right into history.
Oh God.
now
waiting.
I'm just picturing that like that game now with like, oh, here, Axis versus allies, and there's a werewolf now. All right.
And then the zombies attack.
Well,
It's like a
Call
kid
of
playing
Duty.
with like
That's Call of
action.
Duty.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
They've
I-
coined that.
that I mean, see now I'm looking at the World War II one because I'm like,
I can see
I
myself
like
playing.
one of my favorite board games is Risk, and like not Total War,
1942.
1942 and 1924 and all those guys. And those are like 8-hour board games, but like that's like the same thing. Just with you get to
2 hours,
play
though.
with fun. Like now I don't have to roll dice and then move little pieces of plastic. Now I get to move armies. Like I want to come with a general thing and like the roulette slider and just be like, meow. I attack with my platoon of tanks.
Wait, well, storm over here.
That's one of the things I've been wanting to do forever for a board game night is have a bunch of people come in like period appropriate war general costumes for like what axis you are playing.
I'm getting a monocle. That's the only thing I'm concerned
fine.
about.
I just want,
rolling in
like,
with my monocle.
The Japanese army is gonna play with you gotta wear a Japanese thing. Like I want everybody. No bad stuff from Germany.
Yeah,
We're not going that far.
you're on a tight line here.
It's a tight line. We're not going that far. I just wanted people to get like period appropriate like general attires with the hats and everything, and then 6 hours, we're in. Like that.
That would be phenomenal.
That's what I want. I've been trying to get one together just because 1924 and I think like 1943 and all the other one or 1942, they are gigantic.
Mhm.
Like they're like 8 to 12 player, I think. Wow. And like every army's a little different. So in the one I have, it's like specific to. It's not like, oh, and they all have this. So in the game, China only has infantry, and that's it. And it's not a lot of infantry. It's just a small infantry. And I was like, that checks out.
Yeah.
They didn't have boats and stuff. And then some units only have ships. They don't have submarines. And so it's like, depending on what you play, does actually change what you actually have to play with, which is pretty wild.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I enjoy that because it is like true to form. you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
And you could put, so there's 2 of them, and you could put both of them together, and it makes, I think it's a 3x2 map, like traditionally, and then you could put the 2 3x2s together and just have a gigantic, but it's the whole world at that point.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's kind of sick. You could have like the entire world at the World War kind of moving things around. But now you have like, well, South America's there. And I know nothing happened there originally, but
now something's going to happen.
I'm going to start some shit. I got a submarine in a dream.
Like, I would love to have one of those days where, like, it's, you know, like you'd mentioned before, playing that game, just show up at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's a commitment.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, board game, the whole day. Like, I feel like after a while, I'd just be like, okay, fine. You can have my army. You win. I'm going.
So the way we battled that,
Treaty immediately.
the way we battled that was when we were in college. We were playing Risk. We would play at one of my buddies' houses. And the game took so long because every time you lost a unit, you had to take a shot. So the game...
no.
Oh, yeah. So the games would last...
No, I lost, but I win.
Well, the games would last like weeks. They would be weeks. We just leave it out. And we're like, we're going to come back to that because I have to drive home and I can't... I think I have 3 units. And they're like, you have 6 units. I'm like, nah, this is 3. Oh, wait, no, now we have 12. And they're like, oh, okay, time for you to sit down.
Okay, we're taking a break, but
But yeah, it kept the moods light. It wasn't just like, oh, fuck you and your goddamn. Does that happen here? Are there people who get like
way too into it?
way too into it with Warhammer?
Once or twice.
Once or twice, not too bad.
And that's usually you can tell the personality before they even play the game. They're gonna be the flip the table type of person.
Oh, is that why that's such
They're so heavy.
material? Yeah.
I was gonna say there's
Try
it. Dare you?
Yeah, I was like, this is sturdy 2x4s. And,
At that point, it's almost impressive that they did it.
Right? Yeah,
You know,
you gotta
like-
pass.
yeah, that
You know what? Sure, welcome.
you get 1 pass. That was impressive. Now put it back. Where do you guys with your mat? I know some people don't do the mats. Some people do. Where did you guys? I guess because mats are easier to kind of like upkeep instead of like the tiles and all the other stuff. Or
Yeah, I mean, they're just a lot more 2-sided, and I think they're more durable than like a tile or anything like that. So, and then the tiles slide and all that stuff. The mats you just roll up and flip a new one on or whatever.
yeah, I love the. It's like all handmade, but with Warhammer and stuff, you kind of have to because it's the size.
Yeah, where are you gonna find a table this big?
Yeah, where you
for under $10,000.
Exactly. That's the key.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like you can find those tables all day long.
Right.
It's just how much do you want to pay?
Yeah.
But I don't know. They have like a cool aesthetic, and they are very sturdy tables.
You're not moving this.
We're not
No.
moving. This. But I just love the whole aesthetic. I don't know. The place is, like I said, is really neat and just whatever you need, or even if you don't need it, you should definitely just come in and check it out because there's a lot of stuff here I don't need that I am going to have by the time I leave this place. Starting with a mini Z, and I'm
I was gonna
definitely,
say I'm staring at the mini Z right now.
I'm
and just
definitely
like,
taking
yes.
the Death Scythe that I've been waiting forever for. Wife approved. We're already good.
Oh yeah, you got the approval.
Not so much for the mini Z. She doesn't need to know about that. But the Death Scythe definitely approved.
She's definitely not watching now, right?
The high grade.
The what?
High grade or master grade?
I didn't know that there were 2.
Oh.
I
What
thought there
is
was
this
only one.
grading
Yeah, what is the
system?
grading system?
Now you've opened a whole new world.
I thought there was only one model.
So Gundams start from SD is like the kind of goofy chibi looking ones. So they'd be the easiest ones. Then you go entry grade, high grade, and real grade are all 1/144th scale.
Oh.
And so that's like probably 5 inches about. And the entry grade is the easiest. High grade would be the next easiest. And then real grade is pretty complex because a lot of them had internal frames in the beginning and then they just moved to better engineering later. And they're on par with the next level, which is master grade. So it's just a shrunk down master grade in essence. So master grades have inner frames. They're 1/100 scale. They usually have like an opening cockpit, stuff like that. Sometimes they have lights.
You're going
Do
master
you
grade.
guys
Yeah, he's
have-
doing master grade.
So I
Easy.
bought a couple years ago now for an idea for dice. I have this little black thing that kind of just has basically 2 giant key chargers in it, and then LEDs that kind of are powered by the coils, so you could put them anywhere.
Oh, those floating.
So you could put them. I
LED
see a lot
light
of people are
things.
putting them in
Yeah.
Gundams, like replacing the eyes with
Yeah.
the LEDs and stuff like that.
It's hard to find the ones that are small enough. Usually, we've tried it. First of all, the original like brand that was advertised on like YouTube and stuff was like super. It was like $150, $200. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they went
wild.
crazy.
Yeah, but there's been like third party ones that are way cheaper now. But I haven't seen too many people messing with that lately. Like 2 years ago, that was pretty hot. But
Yeah, that was like a new. Cause I was using them for something else. I was trying to do something stupid.
micro LEDs is probably the easiest way. Because that had such a small range, and it had to be on the platform because of the coils and all that stuff. So it's not that versatile, but they got so many small little chip LEDs now. You can put them anywhere. Scopes of guns, eyes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was trying to use it for dice. I was trying to put them in
Inside.
dice, like in the resin, and then build a roller so you could just roll as the die rolled and touched
light up.
it started like I was like, that's kind of cool.
I feel like balance would be a problem, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Throw it a
but
little bit.
It was
Yeah,
gonna be a
just
little
always
off,
nat 20s. You're
but
fine.
the problem was more the coils are two. You need one on the side and one on the bottom to make the field.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get the field even like any way I tried to design it.
A
I
dice
couldn't get
tower?
the field.
That
That
would
was
probably
the
work.
that was the only a dice tower would be the only way. But it was at that point such a narrow. I was like, it's not as fun.
Yeah, that's. I think that's what the problem with that whole technology is. That
Yeah.
the field is just too small. And
So,
Yeah.
but I still have it, and I still have all the LEDs now. I'm like, well, I have
Just
it
put it in like the
already.
base so it lights up as it lands.
Because
You
you
can
have
make
the
your
wall
own-
on the side.
you can also make your own. It's not that the technology is not that advanced.
Nah, it's just copper
Yeah,
coil.
it's just copper coil. So you can make like you can have a display of like a huge display and have all your Gundams on it, and they can all light up based off of that coil.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I know I have the one I have now is probably like an 8x10
Right.
in both directions. So you put a Gundam on it as like a display stand, and then the whole thing lights
Lights
up.
up,
I think
yep.
that's what it was meant for. And I was like, how could I break it and make it into something else? But now I'm like, how do I put it back together for the Gundam again?
So what you're saying is you're buying a new set piece for the show.
Yeah, that's yeah.
We'll put it in the show budget. It'll be fine.
Yeah. What are the pricing for the gun? Like you said, there's a lot of different grades. Where does it kind of
Yes.
start and end?
So you start at like SD entry grade, $8 to $10.
Oh, I was thinking like way higher.
Nah. And then when you get all the way to PG, which is the 1/160th, then you're at. I think the most expensive normal one is like $315. But they're
Not bad,
huge.
but yeah,
They
but
got a
yeah,
lot
like-
of stuff. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff going on too. So
That's like you need to commit for a spot for that. That's like
it's gonna take up some space. Yeah.
you don't just buy that. You need to be like, where are you gonna put that after it's done?
Yeah,
Kind
it's
of
like this is
buy.
where this is where it's going to go.
Yeah, and now I'm
Hang
gonna
out in my
buy it.
bathroom.
Shower Gundam, duh.
You guys don't have shower Gundams? Weirdos.
Then they make a 1/48th, which is the biggest.
Really?
Yeah. So that's probably about 14, 16 inches tall.
Wow.
But what's cool about that is because it's so big, you would think it'd be like the most expensive, but they actually dumbed down the technology, almost made like a high grade again. So it's actually only like $100, $150 somewhere in that range.
That's not bad.
So
That's not bad at all.
do they like constantly reprint the older stuff, or is the older stuff kind of like, oh, you had it, that's it, it's gone?
Everything probably will get reprinted at some time. The problem is who knows what the hell their schedule is. So they like if it's popular, it could get printed like 3 times in a year, 2 to 3 times in a year. But some stuff that's not that popular, you might not see for 2 to 3 years.
But there is still like a turnaround. It's not like something from the early thousands. You're like, well, you're never gonna see
You
that
can
again.
find like original stuff. They'll reprint the stuff from the 80s.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Yeah, just as like a retro here. Do it like we used to when we had to glue it type of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. That's kind of cool. I
So
like
are there
that they
like
do that.
super rare Gundams out there
So
that like,
yeah, I mean,
are hard to find?
so what they do is they have this thing called premium Bandai, which a lot of companies, have some kind of like, exclusive type stuff. So it's only sold, before it was only sold on their Japanese website, but probably 3 or 4 years ago, they started offering in the US on their US site. So that's just usually like alternate colors or a kit that was not, they assume is not popular enough to make a full production of.
Yeah.
And they'll sell it on their website. And if you don't get it in pre-order, you're probably not, it's going to sell out, and you probably won't get it when it releases. And then, it's that kind
wow.
of deal. And then they jack it up, aftermarket checks the hell out of it, of course.
Of course. Oh, so it's like Secret Lair, but for Gundams.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then there's also in Japan, maybe Korea might have one, and Hong Kong might have one. There's Gundam bases, so that's Bandai official stores, and they'll have exclusives. Usually like almost like con exclusive type of things versus like a silver coating or something like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. I didn't know it. I mean, I guess that's kind of the whole point. Everything kind of goes deeper than what you think it is. There's always going to be something.
Yep.
But
They
I like
even
that.
do like collabs, man. It's crazy. Like they did a Nike collab a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it's like
Little
an
Gundam Nike.
SB on a Unicorn Gundam. It was crazy.
Fine. I guess, yeah, find the one that jumps high and then put a Nike logo on it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Nailed it.
No, collabs are dope though. I like anything that's like, okay, we're gonna team up with this and
If they do it
really
right.
good-
Yeah, silly ones are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wendy's is doing a collab right now with SpongeBob for like
Yeah,
their
yeah, I saw
25th
that.
year or
Yeah.
something, and apparently the burger's just like a regular Wendy's burger, but
Yeah, it's
the
like a Dave Single with mac sauce.
yeah, I think you were telling me actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was you.
I tried it. I did
Yeah,
it.
it was
I was the
Krabby
goat.
Patty.
The thing that bothered me the most was the guy like who played SpongeBob was like, "Don't ever monetize the Krabby Patty," but then he passed away, and like so shortly after, they're like, "Krabby Patty." It's like, oh, come on, man, give him
It's like, oh, really?
honor the
delicious.
one thing that he wanted. But
Yeah, one of the cool collabs I like with Gundam is, how like 7-Eleven's the shit in Japan, so they have like
yeah,
7-Eleven exclusive Gundams, which is pretty cool.
That's that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I would love to
I've
see
heard
like an
7-Eleven.
Arizona iced tea Gundam. Like the green tea Gundam would be.
Dude, that would be
say
that
Arizona?
would be gorgeous.
Yeah, Arizona.
Oh, I got for my Sakura one, I use the Arizona can, cut it out, and
Dude.
you have to check it out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we definitely need that.
Yes. That is. I was like, oh.
The Gundam kitchen where dreams come true.
Yeah, that's it. I had it, and now it's here, and that's how you know this place is great. That's awesome. I see. It's the little things. Oh, I think we're getting
Oh yeah, we're getting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
Oh, that looks so sick. Is that like Sailor Moon?
G Gundam. You remember that one?
What is it?
G Gundam, which was like a very
Oh,
silly
yeah,
Gundam series.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is awesome.
careful of things sharp.
There was no sanding.
Nah, that's too much work already cutting out damn
Yeah, it's-
flowers.
I didn't realize
yeah,
the
the
can
flowers.
flowers.
Oh my god.
The attention to detail.
Oh, that's so sick.
and I love how like the pop tab isn't even like popped.
Yeah,
over.
pop pop.
Yeah, poke that thing at least.
I was gonna say, did you shotgun it?
I did.
So I'm not gonna waste in Arizona.
Yeah, no, calm down.
It's 99 cents, man.
Yeah, that's a lot. Oh, that
That's another one where they're like, listen, an Arizona can is 99 cents.
yeah.
Don't you dare.
So how do you feel about the 7-Elevens moving over to the U.S.? So
If they do it
apparently,
right.
apparently 7-Eleven Japan bought out
Yeah.
7-Eleven, period.
Right.
So they said they want to start moving the Japanese stuff over to the U.S.
That'd be so cool.
I would
I'm
love
just
that.
worried about distribution because Japan's a much smaller country.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to make sure your distribution's right.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if I want sushi from 7-Eleven in like Wisconsin.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I am just referring for the New Jerseyans and the East Coast.
Yeah,
that
East
we're gonna
Coast,
get
West
it nice,
Coast, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're gonna get it nice and fresh.
I have eaten gas station sushi. It's not as bad as people think.
And you're alive.
I was gonna say you
That's
survived.
that's
Yeah, yeah, no,
impressive.
it's-
How
It was
soon
alright.
after eating it did you have to stop at another rest stop?
I have a hard enough time trying like
Yes.
sushi from ShopRite. Like
ShopRite sushi gets pretty good.
It is good.
Depends.
It is good.
It depends.
I had a boss who'd give me a hard time because I'd have sushi and he's like, "What ShopRite?" And like, it's there. They have food. Like,
$5.99.
Cheapest sushi around.
yeah, it's
This looks so cool. I don't know. This is like, you want to buy a Gundam and then I want to put it on display, and now I'm like, no, I can't just put it on display. Now I got to build a whole thing around it because I don't want to be like, oh, you just bought it and put it together. This is simple.
Yeah, that's just the first level.
Yeah, that's
There's
good.
levels to it.
You clapped everything together. Now do something with it. And I'm like,
Yeah, you gotta chase that dragon after
Yeah,
that
that's
first
it.
build. Gotta keep pushing the.
at some point, I'm just gonna start mechanizing it and like actually controlling it.
People do.
Right.
Do they? They put like servos and stuff and like the
Mhm.
joint. Oh god.
The bigger ones, yeah.
So here's the rabbit hole. That's the
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, new obsession unlocked. The podcast is over.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
This
We're not
is
going to put
over.
any more money into the actual equipment. Robotic Gundam. Let's go.
I already have a macro lens. We're in it. I didn't think I needed to bring it, but now I should have to take macro shots because this is amazing.
But I feel like this is a pretty good jumping off point for us tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you again so much for having us.
thank
This
you.
is so cool. I can't wait to spend way too much money.
In like 5 to 10 minutes.
But Rad, thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for coming through.
Give our listeners, viewers, all that kind of stuff. Know where to find you, social media, website, all that kind of stuff.
Everything's the GundamKitchen.com. Make sure you don't put Gundam Kitchen because somebody stole that from me. But Instagram, Facebook, we're on Discord, obviously a website. So yeah, you can find us pretty much on everything. YouTube, post up when we get shipments in. We do videos on YouTube or Instagram. So
Sweet.
you can always keep up with us.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you again so much for having us in. As always, you can check us out, normal days, Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern, YouTube and Twitch, or on our website, tabletoptrio.com. So for one final time, I'm Bob.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Graham.
And this has been Tabletop Trio Podcast live from the Gundam Kitchen. Thanks for watching.